In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why I only buy apartment buildings from 20 to 100 units. I won't go below 20 and I won't go above 100, and there's a lot of reasons why. And I'm going to be breaking down all of those reasons in this video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Antoine Martel. I bought and sold over 1,500 apartments and single family houses over the last 10 years. And this year in 2025, I started my own real estate fund, and we've already made a couple multifamily purchases. And because of these purchases, we've made these different frameworks and blueprints. And this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why we are setting our sights on 20 to 100 unit space. So with that being said, let's get into the video. I come from a single family home kind of background and space, and I've done 650 of my own fix and flips. I've sold another 1,000 of them, and I've helped other people do the same thing. This has been mostly flips up here, and I've helped other people do over 1,000 of these single family houses. Now, the reason why I started multifamily and doing bigger buildings like this is I've done these back in 2015 to 2020, to be honest. So I did it for a period of time there for around 5 years. But 2020 to 2025 did not make any sense to do the multifamily space. So I went back, focused on the single family side. But now 2025 is a fantastic time and a fantastic opportunity to get into the multifamily space. There's a couple different reasons why. One is the interest rates. If you look at it like this is the interest rates. So this breaking point right here is 2021. Then, it went all the way up in 2022. It kind of maintained around here. And now here we are in 2025. This is 2020. The average length of a multifamily loan term, so the term of the loan, is typically 5 to 10 years. 2020 plus 5 years. So if you got a loan here, you now have to start to refinance here. What's the problem is that this is 3% and this is 6%. There are so many loans coming due every single month, every single day. There are all these people who bought loans before 2020. They're at 2, 3%, 4%. They are coming due and they're at 5, 6, 7% right now. This is kind of what I'm just seeing. I'm seeing the inventory has been super, super low for multifamily. And now that inventory is starting to pick up because people are going to have to refinance. They're going to have to sell. They have to get rid of their shit. This is kind of the perfect place to be in 2025, 2026, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I bought a couple buildings this year so far. They've been going great. But I think this is going to continue. This trend is going to continue because interest rates, I don't see them going down. Inventory, there's just so much multifamily inventory to go around. Because of this, we have set our sights on a very, very particular kind of buy box for us. And part of that buy box is 20 to 100 units. Why not less than 20 units? Harder to get loans, vacancy is higher. And then 100 plus, you have tons of competition, not much value add, and it's very, very institutionalized. So let me break this down a little bit. The sub 20 unit space, it's harder to get loans because in order to get a loan, you have to be 90% occupied. And with 20 units, 2 vacancies. In a multifamily building with 20 units, you're gonna have 2 vacancies. I've bought buildings that are 11 units, 16 units, 24 units, 20 units, another 16 unit building. They're really tough to get financing on. So that's why it's nice if you can get to a point you can have 2, 3, 4 vacancies and still be above that 90% threshold. Around the 30 unit kind of mark is kind of where you want to be, probably 35-ish units. Great, great, great spot to be. Obviously, it's just a little bit tougher to find those kinds of deals. But this 20 unit range as being a bare minimum. Once you go below that, it's really tough because you can't have any vacancies for the last 90 days in order to get the loan. And so because of that, your vacancy percentage looks bad with the lender because whenever you go below 90% vacancy or occupancy, the lender's going to be hey, you're below the threshold. You can't get any more loans. You got to fix this building. This building is unstabilized, they call it. It's dude, we have 2 vacant units out of 20, out of 16. Stop bugging us. Doesn't really make sense. Anything over 100 units. Honestly, when I started this real estate fund, I wanted to buy stuff that was over 100 units. The problem with properties over 100 units is that the competition is extremely fierce. There are just so many people buying multifamily properties that are above 100 units that the kind of ROI goes way down. So due to this competition, you just have a shit return on investment. Also, the value add potential goes down because a lot of these properties are institutionalized. And then also just the volume of deals is just low. So there's not many of them. If there are, they're super competitive. And because they're super competitive, there's not much value add, there's not much ROI, and there's a ton of institutions in the space. So you as a small fish, it's really, really tough to find deals in this space. Now, if you stick in between the 20 to 100 unit range, the person who's trying to buy these is the flipper. And the person who's trying to buy these is the institution. The flipper is going to have a tough time transitioning into multifamily. They're going to have a challenge. So they might buy the 8 units, 10 units, 12 units, but then they get a little bit scared. Then the institutions, they don't want to touch anything below 100 units. Their threshold really is 100, 150 units. It leaves this no man's land where the only people who buy these 20 to 100 units is really like just retail buyers, small little funds. Then institutions literally will not touch anything below 100 units. They want to stay on top. So you have these like two pressures from like both sides, but this becomes this like no man's land where no one wants to touch. We just decided we wanted to run business easily and make business easy for ourselves. The 22 unit space is great for us, and a couple of benefits for us is that there's a ton of deal volume, no competition, and if there is competition, they're kind of like incompetent or they've never done it before. The raising money aspect is kind of great because it's in that like $1 to $3 million raise. We can pull it together with people that I know, my past clients, past investors, friends, family, friends, family, all that kind of stuff. So the raises are pretty easy. Management wise, it's a little bit more intensive, but we just have to find a great property management. So I'd say that's probably one of the downsides of this 20 to 100 unit range. Once you get past the 50, 60 unit range, it starts to get a little bit better. You can have on-site property management, all that kind of stuff. But these are some things that I really, really like about the 20 to 100 unit space. Tons of volume, low competition. The raises are pretty easy. Management is not the best until you get to the 50, 60. So from 20 to 50, 60, unless you have a great property manager who's used to managing it, or they manage buildings next door, down the street, etc., then you can kind of compensate there. The reasons why we buy the 20 to 100 unit kind of space, why we've stuck in this space, and why I'm going to continue to stay in this space as well. If you do want to invest in multifamily real estate and you make over $200,000 a year, or $300,000 if you're married, or if you have over $1 million in net worth, click the link down below, top of the description, send you some free stuff, hop on a phone call with you, and help you and your family invest in multifamily real estate. With that being said, thanks for staying till the end of the video. See you on the next one.